Alright, Angus, now the fun starts. We've done the hike up from South Australia up to New South Wales, Coffs Harbour. A few nights, one not too bad, one really good camp actually.
Very nice, buy some water.
First camp on the Murrumbidgee, which was like flooded big time.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to see. Second camp was in a forest and we couldn't, I don't want to speak about
rubbish wood.
Rubbish wood. So
more smoke than fire.
we had a camp here at the caravan park last night, have a wash. Now we're on the road, bit of a shop up.
Put these things in low range.
Put them into low range and test the Defender, because that thing hasn't really seen much. Getting dark real quick.
Well, daylight is completely gone.
Well, we're straight into it here.
Aren't we? Right into it.
This looks like a good time.
Doesn't it? I only had the thongs on.
Still do.
Yeah, right.
Might just go for a bit of a trot up the track and see what's up there.
Where are we?
You have to ask Mark.
Good. It looks like it gets better.
Yeah, right.
Just getting past this part might be a bit of a battle. We're going to be doing a lot of winching.
So my notes have this is the easiest track on our list.
Really?
Yep.
How long ago?
Nah, fuck with you. This one I just penciled in at the last minute, just if we needed something to do, but...
Well, we do need something to do.
We do, but denting every panel wasn't on the list.
Or rolling it.
There's a falcon up there in the shrubs.
Is there?
Looks like it's rolled.
Like a two-wheel drive falcon.
Or the bird.
He got up here.
Yeah, we know we have falcons.
I hate to say it, but I think this is a little bit out of our depth. There's a couple sections, like this first part, definitely navigatable. Gets up there next to a bank, like that's just going to rip panels apart.
The lack of firework on the Defender.
Well, and a patrol. Like the doors are going to be stuffed, they'll be ruined. So,
Not even a lick of paint and fix them.
we've literally put it in low range to get off the road to get onto the track. It's a gnarly looking track.
It looks like it'd be heaps of fun.
Maybe for someone in a passenger seat that doesn't pay for damages. Yeah, it's not doable for us. Not in these current rigs as they sit with bugger all bar work, and a set of 45-inch tyres would be handy too.
The very first track we point the bull bars at, and we're turning around not even 10 metres in. I'm certainly glad Nick was on the same page as me when he said we're not equipped well enough for this one. But, in its current state, this is more like comp truck terrain. Luckily for us, the next track is just down the road, so let's see if that's a little bit more achievable.
Steep and slippery.
I guess this is Morbid Trail.
What's this one, Marco?
Welcome to Morbid Trail.
Ah, sounds pretty good.
It's pretty greasy.
Looks slippery.
Just wait for a scout ahead.
Yeah, she's not one for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. Lockers would be good. A locker would be nice. She's greasy, but we'll give her a crack. This is probably the longest climb, and it's just slippery, so if we can manage the slipperiness, this would be no problem, but then it gets the rocky, again, greasy rocks as well, so a couple of chicken tracks around them, but loft camber and that kind of thing. Anyway, air down.
I'm going down to I've got 12 in the front. It's quite low, but these tyres are pretty worn, due for a new set. As far as a mud tyre, it's looking more like an all-terrain, so hopefully I can get more of the tyre touching the dirty stuff. We'll have better luck. It looks like the sort of terrain that's just going to clag up your tyres. So, should be good fun.
Alright, Morbid Trail. The first hill climb. It's greasy. So we'll see how slippery it is. Just going to try and crawl up, but let's do it.
As it turns out, this is a lot grippier than it looks. The Defender is just crawling up without a problem. First gear, low range, and just let the car do the work. There's no need to be spinning the tyres and just making it worse for the next person.
Alright, well the Defender just crawled up. Not really spinning or anything like that.
Put it in a bloody full drive mode. Marco got up here no dramas. He has pretty well brand new Nitto trail grapplers on his. I've got some worn out Goodyears, so hopefully he hasn't broken a crust. But it looks alright, first impressions. Not too bad. That'd be a nightmare with a bit of water on it, I reckon. Not bad. I thought you may have broken a crust for me, Marco, but not too bad at all. Pretty good. Unlike this, some idiot thought it'd be the best place to dump their snatch strap. Bit of wrapping. Absolute f***wit.
I'm going to swap to in front of Marco because he doesn't have a locker. I do have a front locker. He might be able to winch off me if we need be, so we'll jump in front and have a crack.
Yep, let's do it.
This one is a locker for sure. Where are they? If I had a rear, it'd be in too.
Yep. Beautiful. Perfect.
slipperier once again there, but might park here in case you need a winch, Marco.
Is that locker on?
That was locker on.
Yeah, right. It was very cool, calm and collected.
That was locker on, but it felt like it had, well, you'd see more than I would.
Almost looked like you wouldn't have needed it.
Well, we'll see when you get up there.
Nick didn't even break a sweat there, which gives me some hope in the Defender. But I am worried, as the gearing in the diffs is not suited to the larger tyre size, which is drivable on-road, but it really starts to shine through as a problem once you get on a steep hill off-road. Another advantage Nick chose to use was his front diff lock. So rather than one front tyre doing all the work, he had both fronts driving evenly, regardless if they had any traction or not.
I reckon chuck a few maxis in that hole there.
Very hard with how high it's geared. Just don't have that control.
Yeah. I reckon if we just put in some to drive onto to lessen that step. Yeah, I reckon try that. It's lessened a fair bit. Give it a go.
We often use a couple of max tracks to help pack in a hole. They're a lot more reliable than just throwing a rock at it.
Yeah, nice, Marco.
That gives me enough to keep moving. But as I drop a wheel again, you can see that without a diff lock, I have both driver's side tyres doing nothing. So I'm not driving any further.
I can winch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some movement down there?
Yeah, mate, we're up on the maxis.
First time Marco's really tested the winch out, I think, on the Defender. Seems to be doing the trick. He did say before we left for this trip that he's going to struggle with no lockers and also the gearing. He's running 35s and it's, yeah, too high.
Spin it in because I reckon you need it again.
Righto. Alright, well, second climb, it's longer, but no massive rock step. Like the last one had probably 2 of them, so I think just staying in the ruts is going to be not a bad option. It has started raining, so it's not going to help the case. If anything, it would just be too slippery.
The rains have started.
Good news. Mark struggled up in the dry.
He did. The locker, pretty handy sort of tool.
Very handy. I think it's going to be interesting, especially if the drizzle hangs around.
Too bad.
Yeah, pretty good. Now the real test.
Let's get Marco up.
Fenderworth.
Just hellish, tiniest little bit of rain, and you can already feel it under the tyres, like just on the edge of just not being able to, like not being drivable.
couple of 100 metres, it's flattened out a bit. A few holes to navigate, but nothing too difficult. Now, we've come up to a steeper hill that's going to require a better look.
I reckon straight on where you are, isn't that big boulder that's just about on your front right there, that's straddling that big hole.
Yep, no dramas. Locker's on now.
That's the value of having someone out spotting you up. 10 centimetres to the left and Nick was able to drive straight up there. I'm up next, so let's see if the boys can keep me in a good line. This hill climb has just changed completely. It's small, loose rocks now, and as Nick starts the climb, he's heading up into the trees, where the rocks start to get a bit bigger and the track tightens up. Nick keeps right, as the track is on a fair camber, and rather than slipping into the rut and risk rolling, he'd prefer to stay on a low line and tackle the harder, but safer option. That's why Nick built his rock sliders as tough as he could, so he can manoeuvre around places like this without the fear of panel damage. Once again, a slight change of line by Nick and he clears the large rocks. But the slope of the track sends him right back in. He is over the worst of it now though, so he should be good to drive up from there. I start the ascent in the Defender, following Nick's line on the right. Doesn't take long though, and I'm searching for traction. With a tree root hindering my front right tyre, I head back for a little bit more momentum to try and roll over it. I'm running 18 psi in the tyres at the moment, and this terrain is needing a much lower pressure to try and help climb the rocks rather than dig them. Front end just got very light as I fell back down into the rut. I give it one more shot at driving it, but this time it feels like the defender's going over. So that's a good time to hook up to a tree.
Get the winch. Just not getting anywhere. Tried a few times, but just slide me back into the same hole.
With the boys running the line out for me, it doesn't take them long, and I'm hooked up to a colossal tree and I'm pulling her in. We've finally updated and we got rid of some of our bow shackles in exchange for the MaxTrax soft shackles. Combined with their static rope, and we're ready to winch. The winch is doing its job, and I can probably drive it from here, but as I drive forward, the front tips over, lifting a wheel higher than I'd like. I roll back and pull tension back onto the line. That was bloody close to going over. From here, I'm just going to let the winch pull me up until I'm past the rut.
Made it as far as we could with the winch off of this tree. We're going to see if we can drive it now.
That got a little too hairy, and it's still early days on this track, so we're all a bit worried of what could be installed for us up ahead. One thing we do know for sure, there's still a lot of mountain to climb, and it's taking a lot longer than we anticipated. And tackling this track in the dark is not where we want to be.